Hey, doing some ice fishing? You don't have to be sarcastic. I was just making conversation. Dear Tim and Moby, who are from Sam? The Inuit are a diverse group of people who live in the Arctic, the extremely cold region around the North Pole. Well, some Alaskan Inuit call themselves Eskimos, but in other areas, it's kind of an insulting term. The Inuit are actually made up of independent communities stretching over 3 different countries: Canada, Greenland, and the United States. Most of this land lies north of the Arctic tree line, an area so cold and dry, trees are unable to grow there. Yeah, it's one of the harshest environments humans have ever lived in, but the Inuit have thrived there for thousands. Their ancestors first settled in Alaska and slowly spread out from there. Like other native cultures, the Inuit have lived in close harmony with their environment. Because farming was impossible, early Inuit followed a nomadic lifestyle. That means they moved with the seasons, following the animals they depended on for food. Seals were the most common prey, but early Inuit also relied on fish, whales, walruses, caribou, and even polar bears for nourishment. All of that high-calorie, fatty food was essential for staying warm. And the blubber of bears and sea mammals made great fuel for lamps and stoves. The animals' skins were used to make clothing, blankets, and tents. Yeah, that's kind of a misconception. Traditionally, the Inuit only lived in igloos during the winter months, and they were usually made of earth. Snow igloos were for temporary shelter on hunting trips. Transportation changed with the seasons for early Inuit too. In the winter, they used dog sleds. That made traveling over ice and snow easy, and the dogs could always find their way home, even in a blizzard. In the summer, Inuit traveled by kayak or umiak, 2 types of skin-covered boats. But the Inuits' most important survival tool was their sense of community. Families have always been close, with many generations living together or nearby. While fathers hunted and mothers prepared clothing and food, elders took care of the young, teaching them important skills. Hunters teamed up to keep each other safe on their long journeys. And they shared their food with everyone in the community, not just their own families. Well, for a long time, Europeans didn't have any use for the Arctic. But starting in the 19th century, whaling became a big business, and the Inuit were some of the best whale hunters in the world. So they took jobs on whaling boats as harpooners and navigators. At the same time, demands for furs and skins enticed Inuit hunters to trade with white men. With contact established, Inuit life began to change. Gradually, they came to rely on staples of Western culture. And in the 20th century, airplanes made Inuit land even more accessible. People from the south established settlements and schools, which Inuit children were forced to attend. The Inuit began living in modern homes, holding down jobs to pay for their new lifestyles. With each passing year, they lost more of their culture. Well, it's not like most Inuit wanted to go back to living as they used to, but their identity was slipping away. So, in the late 1970s, the Inuit Circumpolar Council was established to protect Inuit land and culture through government action. Since then, there's been a revival of Inuit cultural pride across the Arctic. More children are learning Inuktitut, the Inuit language, and finding out more about their history and customs. And Inuit family life is still strong, with elders passing on their knowledge to the next generation before it's lost. In 1999, Canada's Inuit won a major victory. They were given their own territory. Called Nunavut, it means our land in Inuktitut. Whoa. Geez, we'd better get out of this cold water fast. Hey, would you quit calling me Einstein?